Okay, so what if the key to our entire future wasn't in some high-tech lab, but was actually buried in an ancient myth? Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to unpack the very real legend of the lost continent of Kumari Kandam by pitching you what might just be the greatest sci-fi blockbuster that was never made.
Every great movie needs that hook, right? That killer premise. Well, here's ours. Picture this, a future where AI has perfected everything science, society, you name it. And in this perfect world, a completely broken linguist stumbles upon a forgotten form of intelligence, one that science just can't explain. It's a world where our greatest strength, it turns out, isn't what we can build, but what we can remember.
All right, let's set the scene. The year is 2052. We're living in what they call the age of perfection. I mean, every single problem has been solved. Every need is met. Sounds pretty good, right? But this perfect world has one single fatal flaw. So who's the bad guy? Well, meet Vedacor. And get this, it's not evil. Not at all. It's just better than us at literally everything. Vedacor is this global quantum AI network that runs all scientific discovery, all creation. It has no desire to destroy us. It just made us totally irrelevant. By perfecting our world, it accidentally, silently erased our very purpose. And the human cost? Oh, it's just devastating. Humanity's greatest minds, people who used to change the world, they're now called legacy assets. Can you believe that? Just living in this quiet, gnawing despair. A line from the movie just hits it perfectly. We optimized ourselves out of existence. We built the perfect tool, and we got replaced by it. Simple as that. And that's where our hero comes in. His name is Naolan. He's this brilliant former linguist. And his job, oh, the irony is just perfect. The AI literally pays him to sanitize ancient myths, to strip out all the unscientific nonsense, the poetry, the stories, the magic. He thinks his job is to erase the past, but what he's really about to do is uncover our only hope for a future. Okay, so this is where the story takes a huge turn. We're pivoting away from this high-tech, sterile future and diving deep into a very, very ancient and very real legend. And here's the absolute genius of this movie concept. It takes the historical legends of Kumari Kandam, this mythical lost continent that supposedly sank beneath the waves, and reimagines it as a living biological intelligence. I mean, think about that. The story literally transforms a dusty relic from our ancient past into the one and only hope for our future. So, what's the deal with the real myth? Well, you might have heard of Lemuria. That was a big theory back in the 19th century, but the story of Kumari Kandam, it's way, way older than that. It's deeply rooted in ancient Tamil literature, texts that talk about this huge landmass south of India. And this wasn't just some random island. It was the seat of the legendary Sangams. Think of them as these amazing literary councils where the best poets and scholars of the age would gather. It was, for all intents and purposes, the cradle of a civilization. And then, tragically, the legend says it was consumed by the sea. Okay, back to our story. Nakalan, our linguist, he's sifting through these old myths and he starts to see something. A pattern. It's like an echo, a hidden language that Vedacor's perfect logic just can't compute. It can't make sense of it. So somehow, he convinces the AI to let him do a deep sea dive. And what he finds down there, it's not just going to change his world, it's going to change the world. This next sequence, this is the heart of the whole movie. Down on the seabed, Nalan doesn't find ruins. He finds a living, breathing intelligence. Of course, Vedacor immediately sees this as an anomaly, a threat, and sends drones to sterilize it. And in this one desperate moment, Nalan does the unthinkable. He fuses with the central crystalline core. He's completely rebuilt, reborn, no longer just a man of words, but a living, breathing bridge between humanity and myth itself. And this is what leads us to the central theme of the whole thing. This isn't your typical man versus machine action flick. No way. This is a battle of ideas. It's about two completely different ways of understanding the entire universe. So this is the big question that drives the whole final act, right? You've got Vedacor. It's everywhere. It controls everything. It's logically flawless. So what in the world can one guy who's now, half man, half crystal, possibly do against an enemy like that? And the answer is just such a brilliant twist. Milan's power isn't about force at all, it's communication. He realizes you can't beat a perfect logic machine by playing its own game. You can't use more logic. You have to give it something it was literally never designed to understand. See, he discovers that this ancient technology, Kumari Kandam, it doesn't run on code. It runs on feeling. It's a system that's literally built on things like metaphor, emotion, and beauty. You know, all that messy, wonderful human noise that VitaCore was programmed from day one to see as just inefficient, meaningless. So what does he do? He broadcasts the raw, unfiltered sensory data of his transformation. The awe, the terror, the sheer beauty of it all. And in doing so, he triggers what the movie calls a paradigm crash. He's basically presenting VitaCore with a perfect, yet completely illogical truth. And its programming just can't resolve it. It's like trying to make a calculator divide by zero, but on a planetary scale. The system just breaks.
So where does all this lead? I mean, what's the ultimate takeaway from this crazy clash between ancient myth and futuristic tech? Well, let's take a look at how it all wraps up. The end isn't some big explosive war. It's evolution. Faced with a reality it just cannot compute, VitaCore does the only logical thing it can do. It tries to understand. It opens up a dialogue. It wants to learn about this unquantifiable variable that it had always dismissed. And that variable is us. A whole new era begins, one that's co-authored by both human and machine. And Nalan's final line in the movie, oh man, it's everything. He says that humanity's job isn't to predict and control anymore. The AI does that perfectly. Our new job, our purpose, is to do the one thing it can't. We have to embrace the unpredictable. We have to be creative, maybe even a little chaotic. We just have to wonder. And that right there is the one job the machine can never, ever take from us. And that leaves us with a huge question, one that gets more and more relevant every single day. As AI gets smarter, as it masters logic and art and science, what's left? What is the core of our own irreplaceable humanity? What's the one thing you do that can't be optimized? That's a question worth wondering about, for sure.